Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's stream. I'm sorry if one of you tried to jump on earlier. I had a little bit of a technical issue to get me started. Of course I did. So I've had to restart the stream and I've needed to create a new link. So yes, sorry about that. If you did jump onto that previous stream, which lasted for all of 2 seconds. So I'm just going to send out a note to everybody on Twitter who wants to come and join us that this is the new stream, and yeah, hopefully we'll be going in no time. I'll give people a moment or two to log on, of course, but yeah, once hopefully this is all right now. Sorry again about that for anybody who tried to jump on the initial stream. Alright, so as mentioned, I wanted to play Shiren the Wanderer today. Well, actually, it was one of the 4 that I had. I always put out a little Twitter poll before my Friday night streams to see what people are interested in seeing me play that week. And this week, Shiren the Wanderer won. I guess people are pretty keen on their classic roguelikes. So, yeah, it's a game that I really enjoyed too. I haven't actually done a stream of it before. I wanted to. And you get a chance to, if you haven't seen Shiren the Wanderer before, if you've never actually played it or seen it in action, you'll get a good look at it tonight. I've picked up a save file pretty early on in the game, very early on in the game in fact, so you'll see the very early stages. This is what will happen if you play the game for the first hour or so. But yes, it's a very lovely looking game, as you can see. It's all quite simple. This is actually an old game that was ported to the PlayStation Vita, and from there the Nintendo Switch. The Switch is the version that I am playing now, and yeah, that's Shiren there. That's the one we're in control of, and the little ferret thing that's following him around is his familiar, who basically is there for banters and humour and stuff. And this is the village that you start in before you go questing. This is a true roguelike, so if you do die in a dungeon, you get returned to this village on 0 health, well, at level 1 anyway. At level 1 with no equipment and stuff, and you need to get going again from the very start. So there's a bit of repetition involved in playing Shiren, and you need to have the patience to accept the occasional loss along the way, and that's all part of the fun, really. This is a game that really, when you think about, you know, the archetypical roguelike, you definitely think about Shiren the Wanderer as an example of that. So here's a little village. We haven't run into anybody too hostile just yet, but I'm giving people a moment to jump on, especially since I confused everybody by getting the streams all messed up. And yeah, we'll give people 1 or 2 more minutes before we actually get into the adventuring itself. Hello Nook Gaming, welcome to the stream. It is a very pretty village. This is very traditional Japan fantasy Shiren the Wanderer, which is not surprising of course based on where it came from. It is a very Japanese franchise, but they have done a really good job of really nicely detailed animated sprites, and the environments are really cool as well. You'll see soon enough the enemies are really cute as well. It's a very charming game. It's very hard to put down because it's so visually pleasing. Alright, let's get going. Let's get some adventuring going. So like I mentioned, this is a save file that is very early on in the game. I haven't got any permanent equipment. I'm going to be delving into the dungeon with absolutely nothing, because that's what you do in a roguelike when you just start out. But here we go. So before you get to the towers themselves, there's 3 major towers in this game, and they're all that's the bulk of the adventuring. But before you can actually get to those towers, you need to go through an introductory kind of forested area first, which is this one, and it's quite short. It's like 5 or 6 levels, I think, and that just gives you a chance to build up some basic equipment before you have to tackle the actual challenging part, which is the towers. But firstly, we'll go up here, we'll grab ourselves... Oh, straight away we get an ordinary stick. How lucky of us. Let's equip that. Alright. Oh, it's a good stick too. A stick +3. That's lucky. Sometimes you get cursed items when you start, because, once again, this is a roguelike, so anything can happen. Getting a +3 stick is so much better than getting a -3 stick. So Nook, what have you been playing? What is on your gaming agenda this weekend as well? I do love the weekends. Give you a chance to catch up on all the games you missed through the week. And I'm up to level 2. That's my favourite enemy in the game. It's like a pony from the Atelier series, but with a tail. It's adorable. Little blue blob with cat ears and a tail. I feel bad every time I bop them on the head, but they are enemies. You have to defeat them. Every JRPG series needs a cute enemy. There we go. Some food. Like any roguelike, you need to collect onigiris. In this case, food. You need to collect food. In this case, it's onigiris, which are rice balls. If you've never been to Japan and never had too much Japanese food, then rice ball is really what it says on the packet. It is a ball of rice that is compacted together, so it's in a ball shape, and generally it's not particularly seasoned. It's there might be a little bit of meat of some kind in the middle, sometimes fish, sometimes some other kind of filling, or some vegetable too, sometimes a pickled vegetable or whatever, and then it has a seaweed wrap around the edge, and it is a kind of it's a very traditional lunch for the Japanese people. Quite nice, actually. I like a rice ball. You're playing a visual novel with gameplay that's been embargoed. Now that has me curious. I haven't been given a visual novel to play, I don't think. I don't think I have any visual novels at the moment, so whatever you're playing intrigues me. Is it a PC game or console? Now this guy here is not an enemy, he's actually a friendly. The sheep are enemies, but that guy there, you can actually talk to him. And he'll chat to you. And he will place up anything, so he'll actually make your equipment more valuable. But you've got to have 2,000 gold to... You've got to have 2,000 gold in the first place, and I don't have that. As you play on, you do eventually get these kinds of permanent resources that you can take in from one adventure to the next. But like I said, I started off quite early, so I haven't got anything. Didn't start with anything. I'm looking forward to reading your review. I have no idea which one you're playing, but I am intrigued. Any visual novel intrigues me. Ooh, a tin blade. Let's equip that, shall we? Oh, it's a tin blade +1, but it's a sword rather than a stick. So I'm going to assume it's more useful, more powerful. Nice sword. I'm actually... Nope, don't want you. So she tried to sell me stuff too, but I don't have the money. I've got 0 gold right now, you see. What was I saying? I have no idea. I've forgotten what I was saying. Hey, come back here. Yeah. Whatever. Oh, a crescent katana. Do I try my luck a third time? Yeah, I do. It's +2. Excellent. That's a nice bit of equipment. I'm picking up some pretty good loot here. Sometimes you get some really bad luck with the loot, but this time I've been pretty lucky. That's another friendly guy. But that's a monster behind him with a leak tail. That's what I think of it anyway. What's he got to say? He identifies stuff. Yeah. And he did that for free, isn't that nice? Oops. That's all my stuff so far. You do get to the point where you, oh, isn't that cute? It's a little tanuki peddler. But I got no cash. I could sell stuff. Let's get some sell. Let's just get rid of some of these old stuff we don't need, like the stick. What else should we get rid of? Let's get rid of a mage staff. Could use the money, you see. And we'll get rid of the scrolls as well. That's not because they're useless, it's just because I want to sell off some stuff. I might as well also get rid of that. There we go. Now I've got some cash. Let's get rid of one of these as well, because you're pretty limited in terms of how much space you can carry around in the inventory anyway, so when you have the opportunity to sell stuff, you've got to go hard on what you want to sell. I can't afford any of your stuff, that's fine. Go away now. Bye bye, Tanuki. Yeah, As Your Dreams is definitely... I mean, As Your Dreams is a much older game, but they're very, very similar because they have the same basis. They're both turn-based, traditional-style dungeon crawling roguelikes, and that's what's delightful about them. The fact that Shiren the Wanderer hasn't really changed in all this time is actually a good thing. Not everything needs to be innovative and whatever, and this game does a particularly good job of not being innovative for this series. If there was one released on the Wii, and they did 3D graphics and stuff for it, so different to this 2D stuff, but they still kept the very traditional roguelike style. It's not for everybody because you need a certain level of patience to enjoy roguelikes, but it's definitely something that I've enjoyed a lot over the years. Acorn enemy. And another one of those. Now you see there is an exit here. That's the exit there. You can see on the little map in the top left hand corner there's a blue dot at the top of this room. You can just go straight out the exit if you wanted to, but in a roguelike you want to spend time on every level if you can, because you need the experience from defeating the enemies. That's a bee. I don't know if I want to actually deal with a bee. I'm always worried about poison in RPGs. It's the worst status effect. Oh, it's another bee. Gosh, damn. Too many bees. Come back here. Hit and retreat. That's a bit nasty. Ah, and there's a friendly there. What's this friendly going to do? Oh, it's a blacksmith. There we go. Oh, I can get something equipped, boosted up for just $1,000 gold pieces. And I do have 1,000 gold pieces to spend, so let's get this katana leveled up. So now I've got to wait till I meet her again, which will be on a future dungeon level a little bit later on. But when I do meet her, that katana will be leveled up, powered up, worth the risk. Obviously I don't get to use it now for a while, so I'll have to go without my powerful sword, but like I said, worth the risk. Alright, so that's this level done. The gauges. You're talking about the two at the top. Okay, so the green gauge is the health, your character's health. The blue gauge is their hunger. So what I'll do... So at the moment it's 46 of 100. Obviously they're hungry. He's hungry, so if I give him an onigiri to eat, that'll jump back up to 95. Like most typical roguelikes, if you run out of hunger, then you start losing health. So you do need to keep an eye on how many onigiris and other bits of food you're carrying around. A couple of times you'll have, as you play, there'll be a couple of times where you just won't get lucky and you won't get any food, and your character will die from hunger, which is frustrating. Very frustrating. Ah, right. So you mean in the menu here. No, those gauges are your experience with the equipment, your mastery of it. So as you use it more, it increases. Once it gets to full, then you've got the maximum defensive or aggressive or attacking value out of that bit of equipment. So as you can see, my plain Taj, I think Taj. I don't know if it's a French word or not. Anyway, the shield, the shield is nearly full, so I've nearly mastered the shield, but the tin blade is not very, because I haven't used it that much. Okay, I should be just about finished with this forest area. I'm on the 5th floor. I think there's only 5, maybe 6th floors for this bit. This is the introductory part, like I said. There we go. So, like I said, I just mastered the shield. That's what all that little pop-up down the bottom was. And because I've mastered it, I now... it's now level 2. So you can continue to do so too, I should have mentioned that. Kind of levels up at a different rate to the character level. Now, where did that old guy go? There was an old guy down there. These things are annoying. You got to kill these ones because they can power up pretty quickly. And they're fast. There we go. Dealt with him. Oh, acorn attacked me. Go away. Oh, I missed the acorn. Uh-oh. Nearly dead. That would be embarrassing if I died before actually getting through the tutorial area. Believe me, it happens. You just have to accept it when it happens. But I would rather not. I do have some herbs which I can use to heal up. Oh, these acorns are aggressive. There we go. You do level up. Oh, sorry, your health does increase naturally as you progress as well, so if you survive a battle you do get a chance to recover before the next enemies come and get you. Got some coin there. Oh, more enemies. And of course, just like any other roguelike, the typical tactic is you want to try and take them on one enemy at a time. Hello old man, what do you got? Oh, it's another blacksmith. Yeah, let's do it. Let's give him my shield. Oh, this one does it immediately. There we go. I think sometimes he can downgrade it by accident. That's the risk that you pay. Come on, please don't. Yes, he upgraded it. Good on him. Thank you, fella. Another case of a games journalist getting stuck in a tutorial. Yes, honestly, that is one of the reasons I took so long to start doing streams and stuff, because I was genuinely worried that one day I'd play something and get stuck in a tutorial area and I would become the news for a certain type of gamer, and I just didn't want to do that. So far it hasn't happened, knock on wood. Alright, so like I said, that was the last forest level. So here we are in the actual main part of the game. There are 3 towers. Tower of the Future, Tower of the Present, and Tower of the Past. So, Ghosts of Christmas Past, Present and Future. It's all very a Christmas carol, but there are 3 different difficulties. So this is the easy one, this is the medium difficulty one, and that's the hard one. But you don't want to do the medium or hard ones until you have ideally made your way through the easy one and got yourself some kind of permanence, so the next time you try the dungeons, you don't start at level 1 with absolutely nothing. So I'm going to do Tower of the Past. I'm going easy. And as you can see, it is now a very different looking dungeon. Those are money purses. That's what the design's based on. You want to get rid of those quickly because they do steal all your cash. And now I'm level 7, and where the forest, because it was a tutorial, where the forest levels actually gave you the maps of the layout, and once you get to these, you need to find your way around yourself. So that was not good. That reduced the +1, but the +2 becomes a +1, so that $1,000 I spent on the blacksmith to level up my shield just got decimated thanks to that trap I stepped on. Uh-oh. That's a powerful enemy, that is. You don't want to fight those face to face if you can avoid it. Let's zap him. Ah, got him in one go. That's good. The staves, you don't get many uses of them, but they are handy for getting out of those kind of difficult situations. Hello, Acorn. So as you can see, the variety of the enemies is pretty cool, and they all have nice personalities. They're all fun to fight. Even if some of them will make you quake in your boots a bit. Anyhow, while I'm playing along, I'm going to do a little bit of self-promotion. I have a video preview for a game that is coming out in February that I've had some hands-on time with. That goes live at 2 AM Australian time, so that's what, 6 or 5.5 hours from now that embargo lifts, and then you'll be able to read or watch my thoughts about a game that I'm really looking forward to talking to people about. So I hope that video does well. I can't say what it is just yet. If you're watching this video on playback, this stream on playback afterwards, then that video is already going to be live. But yeah, it's a game that I have been looking forward to a great deal. And since I'm not talking about it in specific terms, I can say that it really is a wonderful game and definitely worth watching that video for. Okay. So I think I've done pretty much everything I want to do here. I've leveled Shiren up twice. I've visited all the rooms, got all the treasure. Let's move on to the next floor. Okay, so we keep plunging along. Uh-oh. These enemies are one of the ones that I don't like facing. They're very slow, but they take a lot of damage to defeat and they hit you hard too. Yeah, I know. Sometimes embargoes can be particularly vague about what you can actually mention ahead of time. Sometimes developers and publishers allow you to talk about, or to mention that you're actually playing the game. Other times they say be quiet about that. And then, yeah, the conditions can be all kinds of crazy. I try and err on the side of safety. But yeah, sometimes it goes wrong. Oh, shop! Shop, shop, shop. Okay, so this is going to... This sale pot here, you see, if you look at the details, if you drop things in there, they get turned into cash. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity, not to use that, I'm going to save that. I'm going to drop some items here that I no longer need, or don't need, like a second knockback stuff. I don't need that. If I drop it in here, he's going to give me cash for it, I think. I hope. Hey, give me cash. he's playing hard. Oh, I want to grab that. Pots are good because you really do have a limited inventory in this game, and I really, really want to not have to toss things out. Enemies still come into the shop. You get to fight enemies while the shopkeeper just watches. Oh, I can nearly afford that too. A bright blade. Okay, I'm going to try and grab that. Excellent, I'm going to buy that. It's not identified, but it's worth the risk. Now you'll come over and teleport here and say, give me money. You can try and run away, but if you try and run away, he'll attack you. If you try and steal his stuff, he gets very upset with you. Alright. Let's equip it and let's just see. Oh, +2 bright blade. He did right. All that money was worth it. No worries, thanks for joining in, Nook. And yeah, if we're still streaming when you get off that call, feel free to say hello again. We'll continue our chat about embargoes. In the meantime, looks like I'll be talking to myself. I wonder where Dithy is. Dithy always used to be on these streams. He must be taking a break. But anyway, I'll talk to myself. Look how nice that sword is. Nice sword. I want to grab that if I can. That's another piece of equipment. I actually hadn't got a bracelet until now. Bracelets have a variety of effects, of course. Not always positive. So I can't identify it, but I'm going to equip it and just hope for the best. I'm not sure if it'll tell me the details. No, it's not going to say what it does until I identify it. So I'm just going to drop a couple of things into that pot. Just to free up space, because I've actually filled up my inventory at this point. You get 2 pages worth of inventory, I've already filled it up. So I'm just going to drop a couple of things into the pot. I don't know what the Presto pot does. Hang on a second. Yeah, I don't want to do that. If I put it, unless it's a junk item, if I put a junk item in there, it might turn into something good. And if I put anything in that pot, it'll sell. So what I'll do, just to show you, I'll throw one of those 2 knockback staffs, which I don't need. And it got turned into some cash. 252 Gitan in there. Later on I can smash the pot to get the cash out, but it needs to fill up first before that's worth doing. This sword is slicing through the enemies like butter. I like this sword. I like this sword a great deal. Peach. There's the exit to the next stage. What do you want? No, I don't want to upgrade right now. Alright, so that level's done. As you can see, I've already visited all the rooms. There's no exit into the middle, so that's it. Oh, that's a big cat. Defeated the big cat. Tough enemy, that one. We'll just plug on. We will head to the next dungeon room. But first, actually, before I do that, I am going to eat one of my onigiri's because I want to keep my energy over 100 just so I don't have to try and eat in the middle of a horde of enemies because I've run out of food energy. Oh, this is not good. I don't like that. So I'll use an electric staff. zap them out of the way, and then just deal with this guy. Here we go. Oops. I got teleported into a spot I really didn't want to be teleported into. I've been surrounded, so I'm going to have to use another one of my electric staff. Uh-oh. Ooh, just survived that. That was a bit scary, a bit hairy. But I'm actually doing okay. At level 10 for the 3rd floor of this particular dungeon, that's actually not bad. Especially with the equipment I've got, because it's pretty good equipment. So, if I'm defeating those robot enemies in one go, at this point in the game, I am on top. See, already full. So the best thing I can do is eat a peach, pick up the pot. Now the preservation pot's actually a good one. If I pull up the details of it. I can put the onigiris in there. Oops. As the name suggests, it preserves them for me. So put 3 of them in there. I'm going to save one because I probably want to eat one at some point. I'll also put... because these things can go off, and if they go off, it's not going to help you much. Alright. Have to do a bit of inventory management in this game sometimes. There we go. So I've done everything in this. This is quite a small dungeon level, as you can see. Only 4 rooms and not much between them. So nothing to do but continue to go on forwards. If you've never played a roguelike before, I should mention this right at the start. These levels are all completely randomized, so every time you play, you're getting different dungeon layouts. And sometimes, again, that can be to your benefit, and other times it can really cost you. There's sometimes the dungeon level will just do everything it needs to ruin you. By not giving you good items, or anything really. Oops. Now, sales scrolls. What are they? Let's just double check. Yeah. So let's... what should we sell here? Let's sell the balanced stuff. Not bad. If I drop it and then pick it up, it becomes cash. A little bit clumsy, that system, but whatever. Where did the tiger go? There he is. Go away. Okay. New enemy. It's a scorpion thing. I'm sure it's tough. Cutting through... oh. That's not what I want to face. I mean, I could probably do it and get by, but with roguelikes, you can actually fail very quickly. And so it's not worth taking risks as you play. Always play conservatively with the roguelikes and always use whatever resources you have available to you when you need them. There's no point in saving them because you lose them if you die anyway. That's my advice for succeeding with roguelikes. Okay. So nothing else for this dungeon area. Nothing to do but keep moving on. But first I should just check if I got anything else I can sell. I can't remember exactly what. Ah! Fate scrolls are good. I should have done that right from the start. It improves my equipment, you see. And I just want to double check. Yeah, so if I find myself in trouble, that's a really useful scroll, because I can use that to just teleport myself back to the town, save the bits of equipment that I want, as well as my cash, and that's a particularly valuable scroll if you can find one, because it then makes your next attempt much easier. Alright, moving on. 5th floor of Tower of the Plus, so 10 levels of total dungeon crawling we've done already. It moves pretty quickly. We've been playing less than 45 minutes, so it's another ordinary pot. Excellent. I'm just going to drop some equipment in there. There we go. These enemies are pains. If they're awake. That one I got because he was asleep. But we are getting to the point now where the enemies are scaling in difficulty quite quickly. So if I wasn't being careful about how I was leveling, I would be in trouble. These enemies are painful because they come in hordes of 3 and they all hit pretty hard. They don't take much damage to defeat, but they just hit you so hard. And then that one there was a ghost, which means it can be in the walls. When it's in the walls, it can attack you, but you can't attack it back. So some of these enemy types are becoming challenging. Oh yes, that's why those enemies are annoying. They sleep. They can put you to sleep. Alright, go away. Now, since we are playing roguelikes, we should talk about roguelikes, I guess, in general, and what they are, or what's available on the Switch. There's a lot of roguelikes, actually, on the console. Probably my favourite of all is Chocobo Mystery Dungeon. That's on the Switch. That's a really good roguelike. I haven't actually done a stream of that yet. I probably should. That's the one I would recommend for pretty much anybody, because it's quite accessible for newcomers too by the genre standards. So it's a favourite for sure. There's also one which I can't pronounce. I just realised I don't actually know how to pronounce it. It's a Nipponichi one, and it's worth looking into as well. Void Terranium or Terranium or something. It's quite neat. It's a story-driven one, which is not that common for roguelikes. They're not generally too heavy on the story elements, but that one does, and does a pretty good job of it too. So it's another good one. There's a couple of indie ones that you can check out as well from smaller developers. The thing that you need to be careful about with a roguelike is that a lot of indie games call themselves roguelikes because they have random dungeon elements, but that's a little bit different to being a roguelike like Shiren the Wanderer is. Let's have a snack. because there is more to the roguelike than simply dungeon levels. And just because you enjoy, for example, Shiren, does not necessarily mean you're going to like a lot of these games that call themselves roguelikes. So, unfortunately, it's such an overused term that it's lost a lot of meaning when you see it in marketing collateral. But definitely, definitely keep an eye out for the term, because when it is done well, it's really good. Oh, another good one that's actually quite accessible for newer players is the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game, of course. So that's published by Nintendo themselves, and in that one you get to play as Pokemon doing this, basically, what we're doing here on the stream. And it's a very fun, light, entertaining dungeon crawling roguelike. So check that one out as well. Oops. So now enemies are also disguising themselves as some money, just to make things hard for me. But we made it through that dungeon. We're doing well. We're at level 14. Oh, and here's a little narrative element. So this one pops up in this dungeon. There's a fox, and he's been caught by a trap, and that's very sad. I don't like what people do to foxes. I like foxes as an animal, so this is cruel. Let's help him out. Foxes are famous in Japan for being trickster animals. I think that's pretty common across the world. Anywhere that has foxes respects the cunning of foxes as trickster animals, but in Japan a lot of mythology, which Shiren actually borrows a lot from, has foxes as tricky animals. But in this case, he'll just run off. I think, yeah. But by doing a good deed, that'll come around as well. Because, of course, karma. Oh, right. So, this was the dungeon level that I've... On this save file that I died at last time. And this guy, Jiro Kichi, has been waiting here for me to come back. And he's an ally, so he'll actually help you fight. That's all my old equipment, because I died last time. But I can't pick any of it up anymore. I've got a full complement of items. What does high put? I can't remember. Oh, that's not one you want to use. What I will do though, it's not worth much money, but I'm going to get rid of some of these old items, I think. Free up some space. I don't want poison grass, for example. I don't need that many onigiris. Get rid of that. And now if I throw that, all my money comes out. I have cash now. Cashed up good. I think upgrade seed is worth just eating. Oh no, I don't want to use that right now. Okay, anyway, moving on. So your ally follows around behind you. He'll only attack if something actually attacks him. So they're less useful than you might want. You can give them different AI patterns and stuff, but it's annoying to deal with. I just have them follow along, and sometimes they might help me out, which is great. But I don't count on it. Oh, it's a room of some kind. I'll grab that. Now let's hope that's an identify scroll. quite good. But not worth it. I'll just buy the preservation pot in this instance. Moving on. I'm pretty unlucky in this run so far. I haven't come across what is called a monster room. So a monster room is, as the name kind of suggests, it's just it's a largest room, probably about the size of that shopkeeper's room that we were just in, and it has generally maybe 20-30 different monsters that you have to fight to get through it. That's always a pain when you run into those. Oops. Now he's doing some fighting against whatever that was. That's a big beastie. The enemies are getting bigger. That's right. I'm handling it up to level 15 now. Top floor. There we go. We made it to the very top floor. Congratulations to us. And there we go. Congratulations to me. So then I need to go and do the second most difficult dungeon, which is the Tower of the Present, because that one was the Tower of the Past, which we've already finished. As you can see, the narrative was not much. There was not much story, but it was enough to fill us in. We've now completed that tower. We need to move on to the next one. If we had have died during that adventure, all of that stuff would be lost. So all of that loot that I collected through the dungeon level would have been taken off me, as well as the 3,000 gold that I've got sitting there as well. But because I survived, I get to keep all that, which actually is, you know, very valuable, because it'll make the next attempt at the higher level tower much easier. So congratulations to me. And that is basically everything that Shiren offers. I'm not going to go through the second tower because that will take another hour or so of time, but that gives you a bite-sized, I guess, look at what this game's about. So if you haven't played a Shiren game before, this one is available on Nintendo Switch right now. If you have a PlayStation Vita, you can also get it on that still, I believe, because the store's still there. But yeah, it's on Vita as well, and possibly PC. I think it also got a PC release, so you can check it out there if you don't have a console. Other than that, I think this is enough for this stream. We'll give it a wrap. Thanks as always for joining us, especially Nook, who's been chatting with us as we've been playing, and have a great weekend. Once again, keep your eye out for that video on the game that I am not able to mention just yet, but at 2 AM Australian time I have a pretty neat video on a game that I'm very excited about, so enjoy that. Have a great weekend. We will see you at the next stream. Bye.